Hello everyone, Mr. Simple Majority here, and this is Simple Astronaut, my first ever Let's Play. I'm playing Kerbal Space Program. You can see actually I have a little satellite right now that I launched earlier. This is a GPS / communications array. They recently updated to 0.20, which has broken a lot of the mods. However, MechJeb still works. Unfortunately, it's in the wrong spot. You'll see when I open the map, the information icons fall right underneath the tab. I can still click on them. I can see the probe, how many parts it has, how much mass it is, where its sphere of influence is, which is Kerbin, and its situation, flight time, and so on, altitude and velocities. If I had a crew on this ship, I could actually click on that and see the crew. Okay. So, anyway, and it's just doing its little orbital path and having fun while doing it. Now, where are we at in the world? Where's our spaceport at in the world, I should say? Well, let's see if we can find it. It's probably on the dark side, though. It is on the dark side, so we can't actually see it. But I will zoom out and let you see how big the world is. This is Kerbin and its two moons. So we have Moon and Minmus. We'll zoom out, and here's the entire solar system. The closest planet's Moho, followed by Eve, of course Kerbin. Then we have Duna, which resembles a lot like Mars. Eve is kind of like Venus, if you will. Moho, much like Mercury. Then we have Dres, which you would think would be Jupiter, but it's not. Then we have Jewel. Jewel is a gas planet. It would resemble a lot like Jupiter. And finally, way out there, we have Elu. Alright, so let's zoom back in. And what this satellite's purpose is doing, communications, there we go, don't actually work in the game. So these are just for show and just ambiance, I guess. It's these little guys here on the side. This one here and over here. These are actually, you'll see they're rotating, they're actually reading the surface of the planet. So if I click on this, actually it's already done. We'll turn off map drawing. And there we go. So we have the surface of Kerbin. If I click on anomalies, this will show me all the anomalies on the planet. And I can also turn those off, turn on, not that, but this. These are the two starports. This is the one we launch from, and this one here would be an alternate landing area, if you will. And currently it's unused. So, turn that off. Alright, so, what we're going to do now is actually get into building a space station. So we'll hit escape. We're going to choose Space Center instead of in flight. We don't want to enter flight. There we go. And we'll hop into the vehicle assembly bay. And if it goes quiet for a second, I've kind of got a cough and I don't want anybody hearing about it. So this is what that space probe actually looked like when we launched. So up here's the probe in our solar arrays. This here's the orbital stage engine, which is what got it into its orbit. This is upper atmosphere, which actually was bugged out. I don't know why, but for some reason, unbeknownst to me, it drained all the fuel from this tank but didn't drain any fuel from these tanks. So I don't know. And this is the launch stage. We have 3 fuel tanks that are transferring fuel into the big tank and then pulling it out, and these are solid rocket boosters. So this little guy got us up there. So what we're going to do now is click on New. There we go. And we start on the command pod page. We don't have to use it. We can actually start elsewhere if we wanted to, but we'll go ahead to it. We're going to actually grab this guy. This is new. This was recently added. This is, if I'm reading it correctly, it's actually designed for space stations. And I can see underneath it has a space station hub connector. So what we're going to do is switch over to utility And we'll grab this, whoops, which is the inline clampotron. We'll take one of those, and then we're going to switch to structural, and we're going to grab this, which is the Hub Max multi-point connector. These two items are specifically designed for space stations. There we go. And we're going to switch back to utility. We'll grab some more of these, and these aren't smart. You actually have to place them. Do that, like that. And I'm thinking probably 2 of these guys will be okay. I'm thinking. I usually build in 3, but I think 2 will be okay. There we go. And we'll go over here and we'll rotate it this way. Now these are inline dockle clamps, which means that they actually have a docking point inside of them. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is switch back to structural. We're going to grab these. Oops. And you see that they're hollow, kind of transparent. That's because we connected them wrong. When they turn that color, then you know they connect and they'll turn solid. There we go. We'll come over here. Now this weighs a lot. I'm not even going to joke. This is already way up there. We could check by adding MechJeb right here and pull up our vessel info. So our current mass just with this stuff is 13.13 tons. We have no acceleration or anything of that nature. And we could go, here we go. Delta V stats, which is our burn stats. We can see our start mass, 13.1 tons. TWR is 0 because we don't have any thrust whatsoever. And, of course, everything's 0 because we haven't put anything on it yet. What we're going to do is come over here. We're going to switch to this tank. We're going to put that on. Oops, that one there. Come on. There we go. There we go. And it's going to get laggy real quick, so unfortunately I won't be able to show you the complete station build. But in the later video I will put the whatchamacallit, pictures of it and the description. Alright, so propulsion, we're going to switch over. These are our fuel tanks, by the way, that we're putting in. Now we're going to add is this, the RCS fuel tanks. And what RCS does is it's like a mini thruster system, which is good for controlling the ship's yaw, pitch, and roll. Especially when you get something this heavy. Now I'm putting a lot of these on because this will actually be a fueling station eventually. There we go. And you can see our mass is now 62.7 tons. Still no engine power. And that's what we're going to add right now. Back under thrust. We'll grab these guys and we're going to put them here. 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 And here. Now this is temporary stuff, unfortunately. The reason why, like I said, they just updated the mod, or the game, so the mod developers are already catching up, are trying to play catch up. There are mods that will be missing, for example, Fuel Bouncer, which would actually bounce out all these tanks, which is important for fuel production and draining off fuel. Now this tank actually will feed this engine will feed it from that tank, and that's possible because of fuel cross-feed capabilities. Everything interconnects with each other, so the fuels come transferring throughout the whole system. In other words, if I wanted to place an engine here, I most certainly could, and it would receive. And I can show you, watch the stats, TWR is 2.45. When I connect the engine, it goes to 2.96. Alright. She's looking like a station captain. Sort of. Now I gotta figure out which way everything's gonna go, because this will be important down the road. We'll switch to utility mode. There we go. We're going to get these, the Docotrons, And we're going to think about this. I think I want my solar arrays to come off this way. And to make sure I don't accidentally connect the wrong things, I'm going to use the junior versions, which won't be enough for people to dock in, but it will be enough for solar arrays to connect to. Also, fuel could connect to this. Okay. Always the fun part. Always the fun part. We're going to need a little bit of deridium production. That's here, these tanks, but these are broken, so we can't actually use these, thanks to the update. And unfortunately it's Steam, so you have to take the update. So I think we'll do is we'll put bad spot, bad spot. We're putting the solar arrays there. That would not be a good idea to put anything there. Can't put anything here. Now the fun begins. Shall we expand the station outwards? I think yay. So we'll put a Docotron here and a Docotron here. Oops. There we go. And the rest of this will be just generic storage stuff. We can actually connect items like the batteries, which we'll do right now. Grab these batteries and flip them, and we can connect them here. Connect one here. And on this side, these are 1000 charge batteries that I'm putting in. And here. Now, not every ship I have will be running on regular fuel. Like I said, we'll have deridium and stuff, but also be using xenon for these ion engines. And we're going to do is grab these xenon containers, oops, and we'll patch those onto each side here, here, and each one of these holds 700 units, so that's 1400. Oops. There we go. And one here. There we go. Awesome sauce. Now if I launch this ship like it is right now, it's going to snap right here. So we'll need to go to structure, and we're going to grab ourselves some struts. And we'll just start placing these like here to here. Oops. There we go, and here, and here. Okay, one more to go. There we go. Unfortunately, that supports this, but now everything's on this point, or on these. I'm sorry, on the whatchamacallits. Before we do anything, we're going to have to pull this down. There. We'll click on that. We're going to hold the shift key. Oops. And we're going to hit Q. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. And the reason I just moved it like that, there we go. There we go. It's so that way when I connect the struts from the monopropellant tanks up to here, they're not hitting the access hatch. There we go. And we'll do another one down this way. There we go. And we'll just rinse and repeat the process. Except this side I need to move the jeb unit. Put that right here. And then we'll switch to this side. There we go. And we'll put one over here just like we did on the other side. And just tie it all together. So what we're doing is essentially redistributing the stress and the power from these engines, so instead of it going across the entire are into one specific spot, it's actually being distributed throughout, granting stability and protection. And it doesn't have to be accurate, you just want to make sure that you are connecting. Hold on a second. Wow. Excuse me. That wasn't funny. That actually hurt. Alright, so we'll connect it here. You just want to make sure you kind of get it centered, but it doesn't have to exactly be center. Even though we have snap for placement, you see it doesn't work here on the whatchamacallits. There we go. So the upper part's now secure. What we're going to do is switch to the underside here, and we'll do the same thing down here. Now, we had a problem. We're not completely done yet down here. We need to actually add in. We could do a docking clamp if we wanted to, which might be a pretty wise idea considering since I can actually then expand on it and down. And that could actually serve as my fuel hubs, and these could be my habitats. So we'll just do that for now. And we'll take another docking clamp and we're going to place it like so. And then we're going to switch over to propulsion. And we're going to bring in our first fuel tank and snap that in. You can see it's connected right here. And to disconnect this stage, because you notice we don't have a stage yet. So to drop this stage, what we will actually do, we'll add a new stage. So that way when we place the engines, we'll know where to go. But when we're ready to drop this, we'll actually have to right click on it and select decouple. And that'll break it off. But now it's on. We're actually going to want to put our engines in. To do that, we're going to switch to structural. And we'll turn on symmetry, which allows us to evenly place items. And it won't be 100%, but I mean, if we wanted to, we could turn off snap. And you can see it's kind of drunk when it does it. So we'll put snap back on. We'll just do that. There we go. Back to propulsion. We'll grab ourselves the T800 fuel tanks. And we'll connect them right here. Make sure when you place these to not... What the heck? There we go. Don't block that node so you can get to it. We'll grab ourselves more fuel engines. There we go. Then we'll switch to page 2 and click on this, the external fuel duct. And what this is going to do, we're going to click it here, and then we need to pitch over so we can see the underside, and click. And you see the little triangles here, they're pointing from this to this. So fuel's coming from here and going to here. And then out the engines. Now you see we have everything banked onto one stage. That's by default. We'll just move them down because we want this to be separate from this. Okay, we're going to bring up our station core. And that's our basic station essentially. We will need to put in our structure, some more struts this time, and this is going to get real fun because we need to connect from, turn off symmetry here to here, but we can't see here anymore. There we go. Oop, and let the fun begin. Why isn't it allowing me to connect to that at all? It's not letting me connect to it at all. There it goes. No. Yeah, it went. Oddly enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So let me connect there, but it wouldn't let me connect to the main hub. Why? I don't know. Oh, come on. Thank you. So why isn't it letting me connect to the main hub? That's weird. It should let me just plug this right into here. There we go. And then we'll do it again down here on the underside of this engine bay. Now don't worry about these. When we break this couple off, these struts will snap off. The whole point of them is actually just to grant extra stability during the launch. Is there such a thing as too many struts? Yeah. You don't need too many struts, you just need enough that you can control your launch and control your vehicle while it's going up. There we go. Okay, move over here. Ah, there it goes again. But that one time it took. As I said, it does some weird things. It's still in development, so I don't hold too much against the developers, which is Squad. And I don't hold anything against them. It's in development. It's going to have bugs. But at least they don't overly update it like Minecraft does. My gosh, every time I turn around, there's a new Minecraft update. It's like, why? What have we done to punish for this punishment? Let us play. Let us enjoy the mod. But as soon as, like, seriously, as soon as they get done with one, they immediately start the next. I haven't played that since I got this. I've been having way too much fun with this game. Okay. When we look at our stats right now, actually that's pretty low. There we go. Our right here, TWR is way too low. We're gonna have to put a bigger engine in to help support the launch. Let's play peekaboo, peekaboo. I see you. There we go. Alright. Right now, if we try to launch, it won't launch. It's just, yeah, it won't launch anyways because we're not done. But it won't survive very long because that number is way too low. Let me finish what I'm doing here. We need... Whoa. Talk about spear in the head. That completely went off kilter. Let's try to grab that. The struts are also kind of a pain in the butt to get a hold of, if you haven't noticed. There we go. Maybe that's why it worked. Without breaking. There we go. So let's finish this side up, and then we got these sides up. Then we're going to try to address the engine issue. Our power issue. Right here. There. Then we need one more. And... ah, you dirty jaybird. And it attaches in the wrong spot. Lovely. Well, nobody said it was science. There we go. I don't know why it's acting so funky. It wasn't doing this earlier when I was playing around. There we go. At least we're almost done here. Now, at this stage, if I were just to slap a bunch of engines on and try to get this in space, it wouldn't go because we still have to structure it downwards, or else it'll start wiggling in the weakest points of the chain, be it here at this docking coupling or any of the other ones. Now, let's address that engine issue. We can add another one of these, and it just took it to 0.79, or we could drop this in and 0.80. That's not really good. We can also drop this guy in. Oh, because I see why. I'm such a dodo. It's feeding off the main. It doesn't understand that there's a docking coupling in place. So, we'll just return the fuel feed. Be on the safe side, we'll return our fuel feed. And to do that, we're just going to simply turn on symmetry back to 4. And we're going to get on the tank. There we go. And we'll connect it back. So the fuel comes out and goes around, big old circle, and nobody knows the difference. Alright, next we're going to come down here, structural. We're going to grab ourselves a radial decoupling ring, our decoupling ring, like so. And this takes care of the upper stage. Oh, I forgot something. We need our advanced SAS module. Put that there. We already got MechJeb installed, so we don't have to worry about that. We need our RCS thrusters. Oops, there. Yeah. I'm going to put those here. You only need to have 4 of these guys. Or really, you only need to have 2, but I put 4 on. I just noticed that it gets a little more, the stability's a lot better when you put all 4 in. Make sure they're nice and centered up. There we go. And last one. Okay, so what we're going to do is pitch down. We got our first stage here. We see we now have a break in it. As I said, it doesn't understand that everything's broke up. Okay, we're going to go here. We're going to grab another one of these guys. Drop that. Oh, drop that here. And we're going to drop a main stage just to see what it does. So 1.26 TWR, 34 seconds. Okay, switch over here. Symmetry back on. Put these here. And oops, missed. There. There we go. Pitch down. And now we can actually kind of see how this is going to pan out with the engines. So 4 minutes 38 seconds as of right now. We can actually boost that by interconnecting our fuel tanks together. Like so. Oh, 1 minute and 48 seconds actually. Yikes! Which is fine, that's what we want. Alright, so that's our mid-stage thrust. See, our TWRs are really low. That's not good. We try changing out to the big engine, but I doubt that's going to even have any assistance here. There we go. 1.50, but look how long the engine lasts. 45 seconds. And up here, this is, again, it's just not enough. We can take that engine out and boost it. There we go. And it would give us basically about the same thing, 45 to 50 seconds worth of power. Alright, now, get another decoupling band. There we go, drop that on there. And now the fun part, getting the mega thrust going. And it's going to take a lot of thrust to get us up there. We'll start with the big fuel tank. There we go, and that. We get 1 minute and 9 seconds burn time with this. And you see it's 0.74, not enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our structure, grab our wings. Time we're going to take it up to 6. And this is just a test. We're just seeing if, whoops. There we go. What we can get. Ideally, we need our engines to be at 1.6. So if I take 6 more of these and drop, there we go. You see it went up to 2.33. That's enough. Still 1 minute and 9 seconds, but we're going to rectify that real quick like. How do we do that? Well, just like we did before, we're going to take our fuel feeds, put it here to here, and here to here. And you see it still says 1 minute 9 seconds. If we take these off and switch over to the 220s, actually the 220 right here, you see it jumps up to 4 minutes 37 seconds. But our TWR dropped down to 0.66. If we put in these guys, it jumps up to 1.38. Still not enough to launch us. 0.91. And these are the nuclear atomic engines. You can see they're not going to get us anywhere either. What is this bad boy? This is a new engine. Back thrust vectoring. Let's try that out, see how it gives us. 2 minutes 20 seconds, 2.47 TWR, 1.23 at the beginning. Not enough. So we have to go with this. So, oops, there we go. 2.33 in the beginning, get up to 4.55, and alright. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through real quick, start structuring everything together, because we don't want anything falling apart on us. And that is what indeed will happen here. So we'll first start strapping these rockets together. That'll just keep them from flying apart on us. Keep them nice and bound up. Okay, and we're going to switch over here. Make sure we have our connector. First thing you can have happen to you is you click and you grab your fuel tanks. There you go. And that indeed would suck. Here. We can't put it in here because of the whatchamacallit. Put it here. There you go. That up to here. And that up to here. And because symmetry is on, you see we're actually doing that all over. Alright. Once again, up here, we'll strap these two guys together. And then we're going to bring that up to here. And here, as well as here. There we go. Good. Now, we can also, and it's a good idea to do so, take these, strap them into here. Do it here, and you hear the music skipping. That's because we're starting to lag. Okay. Did I put... Yes, I did. I knew there was something I was forgetting. I didn't even finish that. I was all like excited and such. Oops. Symmetry off. There we go. This one back on. Turn off. There. And over here. Oops. The other thing is when you start getting into the high-end parts, it will get harder and harder to click on the parts to actually get them in. There you go. Now we can go underneath. We're going to grab from here and we're going to pull it down to here and connect. And it did not take because it hit the engine. That will happen from time to time. So to get around that, pull as far to the edge as you can, try again. And that time it took. It's all about stability. You need to make sure everything you do is stable. Or otherwise it will start wobbling on you. And I did not grab. There we go, grabbed it. There is a limit. You see I just hit the limit right there. Oop, I didn't get far enough out. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we can't get down to here, but we can come up here and oops, and do that. But we need to pick that rod up because we want symmetry on. And there it is. I told you it would happen. I knew that would occur. Happens every freaking time. So you see our fuels going in, coming out, going in, coming out. Indeed, it screwed itself. Okay, there we go. Out, and okay, it didn't screw itself. I screwed it. It's okay, we'll fix it. There. I think I want another strut right. Come on. There we go. Right here. Something about that just doesn't sit well with me. There we go. And we're gonna do that here, but we can't like do it completely here. There we go. Alright. One last thing we're going to do. At this stage here, we're going to add on under structure. There we go. We're going to grab ourselves some of these small couplers. Put it like so. Uh-oh. Indeed, that won't work because, remember this. So we'll take that out for now. Okay. And we're going to switch back to propulsion, and we're going to grab ourselves this guy, the solid SRBs. There we go. Back to structure. Make sure you tie these guys in because I'm not kidding you. They will bolt on you otherwise. I have actually watched my SRBs go flying straight up through my design and destroy everything. So don't play around with them. There we go. Just do them. There we go. And as I put the structural linkage in, I can actually come in. We're going to put one to the main tank as well. So now I can come down here, like so, click, and drop onto the main tanks. And do it over here. And now we have integral support. Now why did I put it here? Because this is the weaker stage. You look up here, 1.47. Once we get to orbit, it will actually easier to control, get speeds up. Alright, let's try this bad boy out and see how bad I lag out. Alright, there we go. Oop. Add these guys in. That's our stability attachments. And we'll scroll up, see if we can actually see the top of the station. And just bring everything down a little bit. There we go. Nice and pretty, right in the center. We'll do our last check, make sure everything's in the right place. We want these here. Oops. Actually, this goes here. Where's our decoupling? Oh, here it is. That goes here because we want them to break and then fire. Then we have that stage with these, and then of course the decouple. Okay. Alrighty. I think everything looks pretty good. Oh, you know what? We need lighting. We need generators and lighting. So we'll grab these lights. Whoop. That's kind of cool. Although that would be really, really bright, but that is kind of cool. There we go. Grab a light. Rotate. Now you can put these wherever we want. I can put them here. And then holding the shift key, I can actually tip it down if I wanted to, or I can put it like this. And then S key it up. Like so. That looks pretty good. It's hard to actually see And that lag is not getting any better. Yeah, it's pretty close to where I want it. Hold the Alt key and then click, and you can actually grab another copy of it. There we go, put that one right here. Hold the Alt key, grab another one. And because of angle snap, it's actually snapping it to the right place. There we go, and like so. There we go. Oh, you know what? I was sitting here messing around and I totally forgot. We can't do it this way. And I'll explain why. If I come in with a large tanker into this bay or up to the station, it's going to hit these things. Not good. To fix that, simply use a another inline docking port and pull it out by one on each side. And then attach another docking ring. Oops. There we go, and then we'll do the same thing for the small ones. And, oops, Junior, where's Junior? Oh, there's Junior. There we go. Oop. Love when it misses. And over here. Now we're in sandbox mode, I should point that out too. God, I'm already at an hour. This is why my Let's Play series, I actually am not going to go through it like I am right now. There we go. So now what will happen, we have a little one gap, and then we connect another one pipe with another junction, and we continue to expand on all four sides as well as the bottom. This will be for solar panels though, just to point that out. Oh, generators. Here we go. So here's our Jennies. We're going to put in a total of two of them for now. So we don't need very much power generation. It's just not required at this point. We also need some lights to light up our docking apparatus. Oops. There we go. Like that. We'll grab it, copy it, and we'll put it here. Copy it again. And copy it one more time. There we go. And there we go. Nice and lit up. It will be. If we wanted to, we can also attach lights inside here to look down. Which could have some importance, but we can also attach them on the other objects later on in the game. Now, this is new. Actually, I don't know. This might not be a part of the vanilla. I'm not for sure. It doesn't sound like it would be. No, it's not. This is a part of a mod. Okay, there we go. Our pretty station. We have a basic habitat module, but we're also missing the real ones. And we don't want to launch any more in this. Look at our tonnage. 475 tons, 117 tons, just for the core. And what we're going to need there. Oh, I don't know about this. I mean, think that it's not going to get into space. Even with these things on, I don't think it's going to get to space. Oops. I don't see it getting there. Alright. Enough screwing around. Let's get the structure. And the large decoupling rings. There we go. Let's set those here. And then we're going to grab ourselves the SRBs. There we go. It's not adding very much. You notice it's not really doing all that much for us. 0.37. But hopefully it's enough to get us up there. Move this up here. That way when these are done burning, they'll drop right off. Make sure our fuel networks are hooked up correctly. Yes. Alright. We also want to add a little more monopropellant systems. We're going to put them here. And I think that ought to be enough. Alright, let's try it. We'll name this KSC Station Kerr. Okay, oh, we need our launch stability launch pads. Launch stability enhancers. Put those here. And you know what? I almost made a mistake, guys. There we go. We need to structure that out. These rockets will rip, like I said up earlier, these will rip right the heck off the ship and cause all kinds of pain and discontent. Alright, come over here, do the same thing here. And I mean, literally, I'm going to do the same thing, including miss. And we'll tie these to this point here. Yeah. So you hear it's starting to get really choppy because we are really adding on the, oops. How did I know that was happening? I knew that seemed too easy. There we go. What I want to try and do is hook one from there to here, and that'll help stabilize it, I hope. Alright, well, I guess all we do is give it a shot and see how she flows. I don't know why I got that guy floating there. There we go. Well, I might as well make the most of it. There we go. Alright. Move this into this set, this into this set. Save it. Reduce stats. And hit the launch key. So I already launched my one ship, now we're going to launch a station. If it don't launch, that'll be the end of the video. Needless to say, we're getting close to an hour, so yikes. Okay, here we go. On the dock. When the camera drops, the ship will be ready for launch. We're hoping nothing falls off and breaks. It didn't. It's also not wobbling, which is a good sign. I did it right the very first time. We're going to set our orbit to 100,000 on the nose. Oops, not 1,000. Orbital inclination will be left at 0. Because we do have a curb lean, we're going to want to limit to terminal velocity. There we go. And we'll leave auto stage on for the moment. There we go. Engage autopilot. And here we go. Turn on vessel info. We can track our weight, our TWR. Burn, baby, burn. We're moving at a good clip. We're holding back on TWR or throttle because we don't want to hit terminal velocity. And he looks entirely way too happy to be there. Something's wrong with that picture. Alright. SRBs are about 50% finished. And they're going to fall once they're done, they're going to fall right off the ship. They're doing exactly what I wanted them to do, and nothing more. And we have 37 seconds before the stage 4 disconnects. And we're beginning our roll maneuver, which can cause damage, which it did. It hit one of the engines and destroyed them. And that's the end of our flight. We won't be able to recover from that unless we drop our engines. And we're too low for that. Dropping our engines at this point will be pretty pointless. So what happened? Well, I'll go ahead and give it. We got 9 minutes. We'll run it up to an hour. So what happened here? Well, let me show you what happened. One of these SRBs, when they fell off, collided with the engine bells. And it happened while in a turn. And this is while I'll give it another shot. Engage autopilot, and we're going to turn off auto staging. There we go. Because the ship is so heavy, when it tilts, it actually snaps backwards. Let's go IVA. That's funny. All he sees is a big circuit board. That's hilarious. That's kind of cool, actually. I need to move the SAS control, though. That's just in a really bad spot. Alright, we're going to keep going. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait till that point that the ship is kind of straight, then we'll drop the engines. If we do it right now, the SRBs will fly straight up into our station. Alright, here it goes. This is where the screw-up happened. We're still gaining enough speed that it doesn't matter. There we go. It did hit, but it didn't destroy the engines. There we go. Cool. We'll go ahead and turn on the auto staging again. Okay, that's the SRBs. So when we drop these smaller SRBs, then I'm going to turn off auto stage. There we go. You see our TWR right now is 148 or 196. And we're not going to last very long. Which we don't care about. Alright, here it goes. Gonna drop the engines. And we just had an accident. Turn on our RCS system to help us stay stabilized. There goes our next engine. And that's what I was trying to avoid. Oops. Oh well. Look at our ship, see how she's doing. Remember, at 100,000 the engines will cut. There we go. And there it is, station. It actually has a new icon. Cool. Alright, there's 100,000. Perfect. We can also see by looking at the moon track, kind of off-center. There we go. How is it? Oh. Yikes. Okay. So what we're doing now is our autopilot roll. And eventually we're going to get up here and we're going to fire our autopilot, or an engine again. Except we're not going to do it completely. We're actually going to stop it. And before we do, we're going to do this. I don't want these engines firing anymore. Whoops! Oh, come on. Oh, this is funny. It's like, get in front of it. There. Oh, I missed. Alright, we gotta disengage autopilot. RCS, stabilize. I can't even click on it. There we go. Alright, so engines are off. Problem is now we're way past our apiosis, which means we're our mark, which means we're screwed. We're not completely screwed. We're just screwed enough that it's going to make a difference. What I'm trying to do is get back on the mark as quickly as I can, and I'm going to fire. And from this point, okay, we're going to drop our last stage, which is to disconnect this node. And remember, we got to re-enable all those engines we turned off. This is because we weren't watching our staging. Alright, let's see how we're looking. We're close. We'll enable our autopilot. And this way we can actually even out our orbit. And it's going to do that right here. 124,000. Which will take this up to 124,000, which is about okay. While we're getting ready to do our next burn, we're going to come into Maneuver Planner. We can go ahead and close this, because as soon as it's done it will deactivate. We can check here and see it's lit up still, saying it's working. Oh, it's calling this a lander. Huh, funny. Okay. There's our curbling. The courage and stupidity. Hilarious. Alright. We spent more fuel than we wanted to, but we can always bring up more. And here comes our final burn. We'll check our orbital information real quick. We want that to be 0. And it is not at 0. 124. So here we're going to actually do a circleize. And we're going to set that at apoapsis. Which is our highest point of orbit, 125,000. That's where we want it at. Now that's actually getting ready to, we can look, there we go. It's getting ready to do its thing. Match plane with target, planes with target. And we'll use the moon for that purpose. Set as target, there we go. And we'll have it match at the DN. There we go. We want to watch our resources. Fuel's okay. Electric charge, you see it trickling because it's whatchamacallit. Monopropellant's okay. Xenon gas is okay. Of course, xenon's okay. Okay, what we'll do. What this is going to do is attempt to get its eccentricity to as close to 0 as possible. I was looking at inclination. Oops. Oh well. Abort. We don't need that. Create and execute. That's what we need. And we're close to it. Oh well. 0.0, we'll take it. There's our next burn. Move over to it, and then off we go. Turn that off, don't need it anymore. And what we're going to do now is match our plane with moon, which is at 0. So I lied, we do need it. Orbit info. So there's our inclination. Watch what happens when we fire. There we go. We're set 0.4 inclination. We're all set to go to the moon if we wanted to, but we're not. We'll head back down to the station. It's pretty dark up here. Let's turn some lights on. There we go. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's got some drama to it. I like that. It's cool. Alright, there's our station. She's up and going. If we wanted to, we can EVA our pilot. There we go. He is right here. Can't get away from the station, so nothing to do other than just kind of look around. So later on, I'll add the arrays, and I'll bring in the docking couplings and so forth. Until then, this is Mr. Simple Majority signing off. I hope you enjoyed the show.